Whoopi Goldberg. Did you see her go to town today?
Which there was a great response. Olivia Rondeau had a great response to that. And she said, well, Whoopi just, pretty much said that men can't have children. Like that's
Whoopi's base.
That men can't, like Whoopi Goldberg came
she's
on
gonna
and
get
said
canceled.
it.
We have this here from Fox News. The View host Whoopi Goldberg erupts on abortion debate. How dare men talk about what a fetus wants? Ex-conservative Anna Navarro on conservative majority on Supreme Court. Be careful what you wish for. So Whoopi Goldberg, she was making like an anti-trans argument. Is that what she was doing?
Well, she was like, hands off my body, doc.
Yeah, but she's implying that men can't have children by saying this, right? And that's kind of verboten, at least in some context.
Well, she's an old school liberal. She doesn't understand the new cult and what they believe and everything like that. So
she's all for her body, but she's also pro-vaccine. A mandatory vaccine?
If I don't want to judge this too much because I didn't watch the entire thing. I watched like 40 seconds of it, and she was fired up.
This really bugs me too. Even on the surface, she said, "Do any of you men have any eggs or the possibility of carrying a fetus? How dare you talk about what a fetus wants? You have no idea. I'm fine if you disagree with abortion. I have no problem with that. My problem comes when you tell me what I need to do with my doctor and my family. How dare you? How dare you?" I'm pro-choice, and you have to really break it down to like its philosophical root to understand what I mean by that. Because I certainly don't agree with the left. They're pro-abortion. It's very, very different. Things have changed. So I can understand some of the righteous indignation, but men certainly have a right to an argument in the debate. That's absurd. It takes a man and a woman to make a child. And it's also nightmarish when you see stories. There was one video I watched where a guy is like following this woman into an abortion clinic screaming, "Please don't kill my son. Please stop, please."
I didn't see that.
He drops to his knees and he's crying out in front of it. And she's just like, "Get away from me." And that's like, yeah, man, this is not an easy moral situation.
These are deeply philosophical questions, and they're questions that government can't solve. I am pro-life. I'm deeply pro-life, but I understand the limitations of government fixing this problem. The truth is, if you have somebody that wants to terminate their baby, I don't think they should have the right to do that because they're taking life. That's not peaceful. At the same time, I recognize that. Compelling someone to carry a child they don't want is going to end up poorly. That situation is going to be bad.
It's really tough because I think there's so many people's perspectives on it are very, very different. When I was talking with Seamus, Freedom Tunes, his view was very much that the word abortion means the needless termination of a pregnancy. And my view on it is any circumstance in which a doctor terminates the life of the baby. And so, to me, that could mean serious mental health issue. Not mental. Serious health issues for the mother and the child, and a decision that has to come from a medical doctor and the woman. And to Seamus, the argument was literally like people using abortion as contraception, or just deciding they don't want to take risks. And so, I don't want to. I'm not trying to diminish his total argument because
I was about to go head to head with it. He's not here.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
James to get
I don't want to put words in his mouth because he's not here to defend himself. We had a big discussion on it. We disagree.
Well, like a miscarriage is a type of abortion. So it's called involuntary. Yeah, they call them involuntary abortions because a fetus is aborted. It's involuntarily on it. Not against
the word involuntary is the big part there.
Yeah. Right. So, we talked about this quite a bit yesterday when we were discussing Roe v. Wade and how the Supreme Court, it seems like they're leaning towards overturning it or effectively overturning it with the ruling on the Mississippi abortion ban.
But here's what we should talk about. Like when you overturning Roe versus Wade doesn't end abortion. Right. It just means that the federal that some states are going to have it and some are not. Yep. And that solution won't please everyone either. But it is much more of it'll be more what was intended from our government. Like if you look, there's no abortion's not a constitutional issue. If we say that we live under the U.S. Constitution, there's nothing in there that suggests that the federal government should be making these decisions.
Yeah, I think Clarence Thomas was asking like, where in the Constitution does it say this is a right or something to that effect? And the woman argument was, I think her name was Rinkelman, and she's the Solicitor General, and she said, and the 14th Amendment. And he's like, I can read the Second Amendment and see what it says. Like, what are you referring to?
Right.
And he made a really good point. It is, to me, an insane argument that it's a constitutional right to get an abortion. That she said it's seated in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, or something it's a liberty argument. And I'm like, my view is there's a very serious challenge in what the government should be allowed to do when it comes to, people's medical decisions in their bodies. And the issue with abortion that I think the left willfully ignores is that the baby is a life, the mother is a life. They're both valid. It's annoying to me when I see there's like a meme going around from these leftists, and they're like, it's actually someone I know posted this saying, the argument about whether or not a fetus is a life is the wrong argument. The real argument is whether a woman is a life. And I'm like, what do you even, you're not even saying anything. Look, I get it. Women are alive and the babies are alive. And we're trying to figure out how to do this right. You're not helping by making these nonsensical statements.
That's a bad argument. Even I think most people that are pro-abortion would admit that's a bad argument.
Now they're posting these memes. I'm just like, look, man, it's really scary to me, the idea that the government is given precedent for being involved in medical decisions. And I'm like, that's the challenge of abortion, is that for a certain amount of time, the fetus is dependent upon the mother. And now you've got government intervention in a medical. I don't like it. I don't like vaccine passports. I don't like vaccine mandates. I don't like any kind of mandate. You know what I mean? For medical choices, that shouldn't be something the government's involved in. And so that's a very rudimentary thing I see. And then I see what you get when the left actually wins there. Here's what happens. The left comes in and says, see, shouldn't we have pro-choice? And then someone like me goes, yeah. And they go, great. Hey, everybody, you can use abortion as contraception now. And I'm like, no, what? Yeah. No. And then that's what they end up doing. And so then it's just, there's no middle.
Like, to me, it's still so philosophical. And there's no, it's just clearly wrong to me. But again, it gets messy trying to have laws to fix these things.
Right.
One of my first stories ever as a newspaper reporter years ago, as a cub reporter, the Panama City News Herald in Florida. And a young woman, probably less than 25 years old, she murdered her baby, and that was just born. I think it's been many years, but she just left it. I think she might have drowned it in the bathroom or something. And I covered that, did a couple of stories on it. As far as I remember, I think she went to prison for life for like a really long time. But if she would have done it a week earlier, I remember thinking, if she would have done it a week earlier, it's perfectly legal.
That's right.
And so like you can't, trying to have government have solutions to this, it gets messy, but as an individual, I just say like, no, it's life. And the one thing the government is supposed to do is protect life.
So, here's where I think, look, I'll go back to what we were talking about with Civil War stuff. And you were saying that, you don't think it'll be that bad. I think that, I don't know what the right way to describe this. I completely disagree. We have seen nonstop escalation and no sign of it slowing down. If I were to ask you in 2014, do you think that in 2020, 1,000 right-wing individuals would storm into the Capitol, interrupting the Electoral College proceedings, resulting in 10 months of solitary confinement and the expansion of the Capitol Police nationwide? You'd be like, shut up. If I said in a few years, there's going to be roving bands of far left extremists burning down buildings and killing people, and a guy's going to get shot in the chest and murdered, you would tell me to shut up. And I know this because this is literally what happened when I said it was going to happen. Back in 2017, 2018, when I was covering the street violence, I was talking to people, pundits, politicos, libertarians, DC types, and I was saying, like, guys, I see this getting worse. It's only getting worse. And they were like, oh, shut up. The state would never allow this to escalate beyond the Proud Boys and Antifa. No one's going to die. They're LARPers. And then sure enough, dude walks up to Aaron Danielson and just puts two in his chest for no reason. And we have seen consistently escalating violence to the point where even after January 6th, I don't think it was an insurrection. I think it was a riot. And I think it was bad. Some of these people, the doors were open. They were let in. Still really bad. I still have people walk up and be like, do you think there's going to be a civil war? And now what happens? I say January 6th. And they go, oh, yeah. So you think about January 6th. Not as insane as the Democrats think it is. But hey, from their perspective,
it's troubling. Deeply troubling.
If these people want to come out and simultaneously criticize me for saying I think a civil war has strong potential, but then also claim they want to criticize me for saying that, but then also claim January 6th was an insurrection, I'm like, what was wrong about what I said then? If you believe that? Now, what happens come June 2022 if we get another major culture war catalyst? There's no sign of this slowing down for any reason. Right now, it's winter. Winter things, are chill. Mm-hmm. And this happened last year. Mm-hmm. People were like, it's cold out. We're not going to see riots. And then January 6th happened. So what happens come springtime, especially June 2022, they overturn Roe v. Wade. Man, you are going to see riots. and it's going to escalate. And now with Kyle Rittenhouse and the self-defense precedents and a lot of things we've seen, the left is arguing that they need to bring their guns out. They need to bring their guns out because the right's going to bring their guns out. We had 2 shootouts in Portland, I think only a couple months ago. It's the craziest thing to me that people are like, nah, I think things are chilling out. I'm like, dude, it's been a month of winter, and that's why you're saying that. A couple months ago, we had someone on the show, and I was like, we had 2 shootouts in Portland. Literally left and right-wing groups shooting at each other in the street. We had a guy driving his truck, and Antifa blockaded the street and aimed rifles at the guy in his truck. And he pulled out his gun and pointed it at them. And I'm like, why would I believe this is slowing down? Now we got a midterm year, and they're saying the Republicans are going to sweep. Yo, we already had people burn down buildings across this country, killing 25. Why would it get any better?
No, it's a good question, and I don't want to minimize the violence that we're experiencing or that we saw, on January 6th or before that, which in my opinion, you find yourself January 6th was bad. What we saw before that was much worse to me. It was much more because the difference was I look at DC. They got cops everywhere. Now again, like they weren't there that day. Things were bad. But I look at shop owners that were everything that they've built is being destroyed. Nobody was looking after them. We had, as you said, 25 people died. It was the bloodiest civil unrest that we've had since the 60s. So I don't minimize that.
But these people then went and voted for Joe Biden.
Which people?
In these big cities, they went blue. They went hard blue.
Yeah.
These people, Kamala Harris, who was soliciting donations to bail the rioters out. Joe Biden, 13 of his staff members helped bail the rioters out. And the people in Minnesota said,
blue no matter who.
Yeah, I'll vote for that.
People would actually say that, blue no matter who. I'm like, what is going on? Think about what you're doing before you do it.
So it was incredibly dangerous. Like that. I remember being infuriated by that. Here's the thing. Rittenhouse got GoFundMe shut down. It's one guy accused of a crime. You actually know the details. When you're just giving money to a bunch of people that have been arrested for all these violent crime, that to me, I found it really troubling.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.